someone randomly rang me because I didn't have an agent at the time, and they just said, "Hi, I'm so and so, and Man City are interested in you." And like, I didn't. I just ended the call because I thought this must be like some sort of fake thing.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Friendlies. I'm Sam Ewis, and today I am so excited to have with me an absolute master of her craft, a forward who's able to fuse high flying speed with laser precision. That's you, Hempo, a former teammate, one of my favorite players to watch in the Women's Super League, and a two-time champion of Europe with the Lionesses. It's Norfolk's own Lauren Hemp. Hempo, welcome to the Women's Game. Thank you for being
That
here.
was a great intro.
Thank you so much. I'm literally so excited to chat. This episode of Friendlies is brought to you by Verizon, a proud supporter of the global game and the players who inspire us on and off the pitch. As an official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026, Verizon is honored to help share the stories of the world's top players, including the incredible women who are changing the game at every level. Stay tuned for more on how Verizon can get you connected to the game we love. All right, everybody, here is Lauren Hemp. We're going to get into what's ahead for you and Man City. And of course, we're going to look back at your Euros journey this past summer. I do want to start off by congratulating you on winning the Euros and becoming the rare player to lift that trophy twice. And I think the only player to lift a Euros trophy made entirely out of Legos. For people not watching this on YouTube, we're showing a picture of Lauren lifting a 2-scale Euros Lego trophy. Hempo, did you build that whole thing yourself? Can you tell us the story of the Legos trophy?
Yeah, it's been a bit controversial, really. Everyone keeps asking me that. I actually didn't build it. I think this is an exclusive, so yeah, unfortunately, I didn't build it. I got sent it already made. It was all glued together. Because I don't know if you've seen, but I actually made this Lego castle while we were at the Euros, and I dropped it.
I did.
Yeah, and so I think they must have realised that and just glued one together for me, which was really handy because then obviously I didn't break it. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
Like I've got that to keep here at my home, so unfortunately I can't keep the main one. I think that's St George's Park somewhere. But no, it's great to have that because obviously I absolutely love Lego, but I'm literally filling up my house. I've got nowhere to put anything. All my clothes are just chucked on my bed, and all my Legos all like in my wardrobes where my clothes are meant to be.
You open up the closet for a sweatshirt and it's just Legos.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Well, I know, okay, controversially, you did not build the Euros trophy out of Legos. Fair enough. But I know that doing Legos at the tournament was part of a hobby that you and your teammates did together. Can you tell us more about that and like why maybe doing Legos during a stressful time is helpful for you?
So I actually started it when we had like the whole COVID. I wanted to do something just to sort of pass time really, and I picked up like Lucy actually got me my first Lego set. So
Lucy
thank you,
Bronze.
Lucy, for getting me into Lego. Yeah. And so I did that. And then I absolutely loved it and just continued to do it. And you know, when you get hobbies and like they sort of fade after a little while, well, that one stuck with me. And like 5 years down the line, I'm still doing it and still enjoying it. So it's one thing that's actually stuck with me. And like people say that they've not got like patience for it and stuff, but I feel like it's so therapeutic. And like when you come back from like a long training session, it's nice to just sit down, put some music on, and just do that. And I feel like that's what helped me through the Euros as well. Just like obviously we're training every day, everything's so high intensity. There's obviously so much pressure around the tournament, and then to just be able to come back to my room and to do that. And also, yeah, some of the girls are doing it. Lucy and Michelle were building like a stadium, the one that Michelle scored at, so that was kind of cool as well. So yeah, it was great to just be able to do them things and do them together as well as a team. Just something different than football, I guess.
That is so awesome. It sounds like a really like healthy outlet for some stress and pressure that of course you and the whole team were feeling at the Euros. I think in part because you all won the last Euros, which elevated the game so massively in England, in part because that tournament was played in England in 2022. And there was this huge surge in investment, in media attention, in attendance at your domestic Women's Super League games. And in a way, it felt like your Euros win pushed forward the whole of women's soccer, especially in your country. You won the respect you've always deserved. So going into this summer, 2025, and knowing the impact that the win in 2022 had, did the knowledge of the impact that another win could have kind of increase the pressure on you guys?
I feel like with tournaments come pressure, and especially being reigning champions, you kind of have a target on your back, and it's always like you're the team people want to beat. And obviously off the back of the first Euros, like it's not until you come back to, I guess, normality that you realise how much difference you've actually made. Like it wasn't until I went back to my hometown of Norfolk and sort of just seeing how many girls got into football, how many even young boys as well taking it up, and so many more people than obviously what I was used to growing up. And it was incredible the change that it made and the impact we had. And obviously, then going into the next Euros, we wanted that exact same thing to happen again. Everyone always asks me to like compare the tournaments, and it's hard to do that. Like they're both just as special as each other, and we sort of obviously won in different ways this time as we did to maybe last time. And obviously last time it being a home Euros as well made it that extra bit special. But obviously this time, like to be able to do it twice, like once, like is incredible. But to be able to do it twice and under the pressure and yeah, of how intense the tournament was, and obviously the standard had grown and it improved so much as well over the last 4 years. So yeah, it was incredible, and it's so nice to be able to do that with some of the girls who have now done it twice, but also to be able to experience other people's firsts and to see what it means to them as well was great as well.
Hearing you talk about it takes me back into when the US won the World Cup when I was there in 2019, and just imagining getting to do that again, having the experience of the first time and getting to relive it, knowing, maybe what winning the whole thing a second time might feel like. And I'm curious if now that you've won the Euros twice, does it make you think ahead to 2027 with your England team and go, now I really want to win the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, like that's always a dream of ours, and we came so close last time, obviously like runners up, and it was hard. And obviously we've experienced both being on the winning team and also on the losing side as well, and it's a hell of a lot nicer being on the winning side. So obviously we're hoping to do that in 27. But yeah, like you said, like doing it the first time, I thought I need to really enjoy this moment because it might never come around again, because it's so hard to obviously win a tournament, as you know. To be able to do it the second time round was crazy. And yeah, I mean, it just makes you hungry to want to go on and win more, and it like makes me more determined coming back to City as well. And like we've not picked up a trophy in the last couple of years, so it makes me more hungry to want to do that with this team and want to push as much as we can to hopefully lift trophies here and bring that experience back to City, because we've obviously got a few girls who've been off the back of the Euros who have now come back to City as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing like winning, so I hope you get more of that feeling as well. I want to go back to the beginning of the Euros. I know you personally had spent a lot of the year leading up to the Euros recovering from an injury. What do you remember feeling like? How was your body and your mind heading into the Euros?
I mean, going back to when I first did my injury, which was in November, I didn't really I wasn't really thinking about the summer, because I thought, well, of course I'm going to be back to be able to be in contention for making the squad. And it wasn't until I was a couple months down the line, because I'd never really had a knee injury before, and like obviously not a muscle, so you can't be certain about when you're going to get back. And it came to like March time, and I was like, well, my knee's not really feeling much better. Like I'm sort of like starting to panic here. So I went back for another scan, and I ended up having to go in for a second surgery this time, just to chop a bit of my meniscus off. And then it was another 6 to 8 weeks, and it's like it's starting to get closer towards the summer, and obviously I want to
Yeah.
make as many camps as I can. I want to try and help the team as much as I can, and obviously be back for City. And I ended up only being back for City for the last three of the matches, and like we came fourth, we just missed out on a Champions League space, so that was very frustrating. And I had a couple of camps just before the Euros itself, so for me to get that call from Serena to tell me that I've made the squad, like I feel like that was extra special, sort of coming off the back of what had been then a 5 to 6 month long injury that I wasn't expecting. I think like mentally it's so tough when you think you're going to come back and then you get a setback, and then you think you're going to come back again and you get a setback, like as you know, like as so many professional footballers know. I feel like then receiving that call and just being part of the Euro squad for me was like the best feeling. Like I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to start. I didn't expect to play as many minutes as I did, and to be able to come in and do that, like for me that was a proud moment, because I didn't expect to get through 90 minutes, let alone like 6 90 minutes with about 3 extra times in.
Oh my gosh, the extra times. We're going to get to
Yeah.
that in a second. But there is no better phone call than the call telling you that you made the roster. But I also know that right around that time you got that phone call, there was a lot of news coming out in the media. I'm sure a ton of everybody was talking about it in England because everybody was talking about it here in the US of high profile players who weren't going to be going to the Euros. So some veterans stepped away from the team. There were some new players coming in. There were some injuries. And the team looked really different than the one that won the Euros in 2022. How did you all experience that, knowing that you all were getting calls that you had made the squad, but that some of your longtime teammates weren't going to be there with you?
Obviously, I've been lucky enough to be part of the squad for quite a while, and to hear like so many experienced players like step away from playing for England was obviously a massive shock to all of us. Like the amount of experience that all of them players bring is like irreplaceable, and it's a shame that it came to that, but it also gave opportunities for other players to come in and do a job. And you've seen that during the Euros. Like not only do you need experience going into a tournament, you need fresh young people to come in. And like once upon a time I was that. I still feel that age, but it's crazy to
Yeah,
think I'm like midway through now. But yeah, I mean, it was great, and obviously, like, it's nice for them players, but it's also a shame that some of the others like missed out. But unfortunately, that's like football, and you have to obviously reflect and appreciate everything that all of the girls have done for the game. But it's now like moving forward, the team that we've got, and how we can utilize them players the best way that we can. And obviously, we managed to do that, and yeah, but obviously like some of them are very close friends of mine, so it was unfortunate that they didn't make the squad. But yeah, everyone's got their own reasons, and like you have to respect that.
for sure. I think it was something that, could have been a disruption, but I think
Mm-hmm.
instead what it really showed us was the bond that you all had on the field because there were just so many moments where watching from afar, England was down, England was on the brink of being eliminated, and never for a second did any of you look like you were done. You first had to fight your way back to the top of your group after losing your opening match to France. Then it was this uphill battle to get through the group. Then in
Mm-hmm.
your first quarterfinal game against Sweden, it went all the way to PKs. You nearly got knocked out by Italy, but you were saved by a last second shot from Michelle Adjuming that sent you into extra time. Then in the final against Spain, you came from behind again and beat them in penalty kicks. Reliving all this now, it was like one unbelievable miracle after another. And I'm curious how you experienced this roller coaster of games, emotions, and really how you would characterize the fight that your team displayed in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard to like sum up really, but I feel like off the back of that first game, like I feel like that loss probably came at the best time that it could. Like obviously in the whole tournament, like unfortunately, we
Yeah.
lost that first game, which was so frustrating for us. But I think we showed like how we bounced back, because in that second game we probably played some of our best football that like this England team have played for a while, which was important for us to do that. And we obviously got that convincing win over Holland, but things could have looked so much different if we had maybe, I don't know, got too down about that loss before. And then obviously next thing you know, we could have been knocked out of that tournament. But I think what's so special about this England team is, like you said, we might get down, but we're never out, and we never believed that we were going to go home at any point. And like we had so many people who can come on, like I said, and change a game. Like you said about Michelle coming on and scoring loads of goals, like she saved us so many times, and she's an incredible player and is going to be an incredible player for England, like in years to come as well. But yeah, and then obviously the Sweden game, which was our first extra time, like it was just crazy. It's so hard to like sum up. And also Italy game, like obviously all the girls, a lot of them had played so many minutes, and like people were absolutely exhausted, but you didn't see that because people just managed to get on, like carry on. Like obviously, as you know, Lucy played with a fractured leg. Like you don't really see that happen. Yeah, it was incredible. And I mean, it going to the final and going to penalty kicks, I feel like when we've been through so much and been through all the extra times and stuff, I feel like teams see that, and maybe it scares them a bit because they know that we're never out, no matter how
Oh my
late it
gosh,
gets
for
on in the
sure.
game. Yeah, it frustrates them, and like I know what it's like being on the other side of that and losing like with minutes to spare. Like it frustrates teams, but then like obviously knowing we've got Spain in the final, they probably look at that games and see like, oh well, even if England are losing, they still manage to find a way to win. So naturally that puts pressure on other teams as well. So I think like it can sometimes be a benefit as well, but like it just shows at times, even if you're not playing your best football, you can still win if you've got that winning mentality. And I think that's what's so strong about the group, is we had a winning mentality and a togetherness that I guess sometimes outshone the performances, but we got the job done in the end.
Yeah, I love that you brought up that word mentality. And I also love that you mentioned Lucy Bronze, who, as most of us know, ended up playing most of or all of the tournament with a fracture in her leg. And Lucy's mentality for me, when I came and played at Man City with you all, Lucy always stood out to me as somebody who really pushed the team forward with just her grit and determination. And I think what we really saw from England in this Euros tournament was the growth of that mentality. You all had that desire to put your bodies on the line, the will to win at the end of the game, that I feel like maybe years ago there was a little bit of a distinction between like really laying it all on the line. And to see England have that in this tournament was so scary, I think, for the rest of the world, because it's something not every country has, but you all are building it and putting it on full display now. And I was wondering if you could talk to me kind of about how you've witnessed the growth of that aspect of England's game, and maybe even how certain leaders and players on your team have helped instill that in the rest of you, maybe even with like Lucy in mind.
When I first joined the England squad, obviously there was Lucy and you had Jill and Ellen and obviously Steph as well, who were massive leaders in the group. And I think once you see it, like you realise that you can be that as well. And I think having Lucy at this Euros, especially having that experience, like every time I watched her, like all people would think about is, well, all people in the team would think about, because it's the only ones that know, is like, she's playing on a fracture here. Like, of course I can get through this. Like, I'm like, I've just come back from my knee injury, but like she's like hurt. Like everyone's going through something, and I guess you don't always realise that until you're in the moment. Like there was like niggles throughout the tournament, but I feel like we all had that mentality, and like if someone's going to go down, the other person's going to pick them up. Like if you make a mistake, I'm going to be there for you to like undo it. So I feel like we all had that, and like knowing that we've got each other's backs is so important, of having that in a team. And yeah, like you said, having that experience within the squad, like obviously it's not just Lucy, we had so many other experienced players in that team that sort of led us to victory, I guess, because it inspired people. Like it didn't just inspire the team, but it inspires the nation, like having all these experienced people showing that. And that definitely helped, and it helped probably the less experienced players to be able to be like, right, she can do this, I can do this, I'm going to come on and make a difference, whether I've got 5 minutes, 20 minutes, like we can do this.
I mean, the team chemistry and the culture of your team was clear. I think it every single time you guys came back from behind, you battled back. There was a lot of like doubt cast when players had stepped away from the team, when you lost the first game, and to see you all respond so well was like really inspiring. I think the welcome that you received when you came home, there was a big parade in London with thousands of fans clogging the streets, because I think, again, we all just felt how hard you guys fought for this win. But I also know, Hempa, that you had a slightly smaller celebration at home in your hometown of Norfolk. And I'm wondering how it felt to share this win with the place that you grew up in.
It was such a nice feeling. Obviously, like touching on the bus parade, like in front of about 60,000 people, like that was just insane. And obviously Burna Boy and Heather Small coming out, like you wouldn't expect that. Like obviously growing up playing football, I'd never expect to be on the same stage as like these incredible singers, and to be able to have opportunities like that, it's just a
Wait,
moment where
wasn't Serena like so psyched?
yeah, she was absolutely
Can you
gassed.
can you tell us about her reaction to it was Burna Boy on stage and Serena
Yeah,
like flipped out, right?
yeah, she was just so shocked, and she knew every single lyric of the song. But she's always said like Burna Boy's her favorite artist, and I'm like, are you sure about that? And I mean, she was telling the truth, because she did know every single
She's sure.
lyric of the song. But yeah, that it like it's moments like that where you gotta like sort of take a second and realize like how crazy of a career like I'm in, and how lucky I am, and the opportunities that I've had. And yeah, obviously to then come back to Norfolk, and it's so nice because it's such a small area, like, and it's so nice when after a moment like that, everyone comes together. And yeah, in my local town, they basically named this bus after me.
I saw that.
Yeah, it
Did you
came
get
into
to
the.
drive it?
No, I didn't. I was a bit cautious 'cause I can just about drive a car, let alone a bus. But they did actually drop me home afterwards.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, it was sweet, and I was waving to everyone out the window. But
Oh my
yeah, there was
gosh.
so many people on the streets, and it was incredible to see. And I mean, it's so hard to get around to everyone, but I did try to. I was there for a good 3, 4 hours, but it was so nice to just be able to see everyone and all the support that is shown throughout the tournament. Because for us as players, when you're in the bubble at a tournament, it's so hard to see all that. And obviously, you see on social media like the impact and stuff, but it's not until you come back and witness it firsthand. And like it makes you emotional. Like it made my family like it's nice to be able to even get my nan there who can't come to like games to be able to stand there in the town and just be able to witness that and yeah, see what her granddaughter and the rest of the team are sort of doing. It's cute.
That's really, really sweet. I know I remember some of the things I got to do in kind of my hometown and home city when we won the World Cup. I got to throw out the first pitch at a Red Sox game, which is like a baseball team. It's actually like a really big deal. That was one of my favorite ones. But going back and sharing it with the people who really created these opportunities for you, I think is one of the most special parts. And so I want to go back to your childhood a little bit in Norfolk, because I know when you were a kid, you played locally, but when you were 15, your local program shut down. And in order to keep playing, you had to make this big decision to go and live 4 hours away with a host family, which feels like a really big decision for a young player to make. How did you handle all that change? And like, what motivated you to make such a drastic move? What was your dream at that time?
Obviously, when I was younger, like I always wanted to play football, but I didn't realise that you could do it professionally because I was playing at Norwich Centre of Excellence and a girl in the older age group, she moved to Bristol and started playing professionally, and I was like, oh, this could work maybe. And I was actually juggling both cricket and football, and I was actually quite like the same level at both.
Oh my God, I remember you playing cricket when we were at Man City together, but I didn't know you were like a serious cricket player.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously I didn't get to the point where I was playing like any professional standard whatsoever, but I was actually decent. And at times I thought, oh, maybe I'll pick cricket instead of football. But I mean, I picked the best one anyway in the end. But I still like go and watch it now. But anyway, so I had to pick between the two. And then once I decided I want to play football, it was then like looking at where I could go, and Bristol was the best option. With it had a college system and it had football as well with it. Like there was a debate at one point to go to America, but I decided that going to Bristol was the best solution for me at the time. And it was strange because I'd never been away from a home before. Obviously at 15, like I used to go away on, when you have little tours with younger age groups, and I used to like cry every night because I was so homesick. And so to think that I would go away for like forever basically and only come back like once or twice a year was pretty scary for me. It helped me so much, like with my confidence, my independence. Like I feel like it sort of made me into the person I am today. And to do that at such a young age is scary, but it was definitely worth it. And but it was unfortunate that there weren't many local teams around me, so I could go to one of them and be closer to home. But obviously, like I said, the impact of women's football now is there's a lot more local teams that are now turning professional that I would have maybe had the opportunity then to go to. So it's nice that other people can now experience that.
In part because of what you and the Lionesses have accomplished, and just, I think, inspiring and also showing more and more people that women's football is a great investment and like deserves better treatment. So that's really cool to hear that. I remember hearing through my agent that I had the opportunity to go to Man City, and I'm an American. So I obviously was blown away because I know Man City is this huge global brand, and I pretty quickly said yes. But I'm always so curious what it's like for an English player to hear for the first time that Man City or a club like Man City wants to sign them. So you're playing at Bristol, you're a teenager. What's your first memory of learning that you could go play at City?
Someone randomly rang me because I didn't have an agent at the time, and they just said, "Hi, I'm so and so, and Man City are interested in you." And like, I didn't. I just ended the call because I thought this must be like some sort of fake thing. And anyway, I told my mum and dad about it, and I basically gave them the phone number to then ring. And so they rang it, and then they passed on Nick's number. And my mum rang Nick and was like,
Nick Cushing, the coach at the time.
Yeah. So we was on the bus to a Man City match, and obviously there's me in Bristol. And my mum rang him, and he was like, "Yeah, Man City are interested. Like we're really interested in signing Lauren." And obviously at the time I thought like this can't be real. Like I'm just playing at my college, like just playing for Bristol. To be able to receive a call like that, like naturally I'm going to think like surely that's not true. But then to tell me that it is true was pretty incredible, and I feel like straight away I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go. But like at the time I was still like 17, so I had to like figure out another host family. Like it is strange living with like a family that acts as your family that like technically isn't your family, so it's so weird. But like when I moved there, like they were so welcoming. I live with Esme, and she kept telling me it was the best decision I would make if I moved to City. So having someone like that who was my best friend then and is still my best friend as well, and to have her living with me made it 10 times easier.
I know. Well, literally, I'm so glad you brought up Esme because that was my next question. I played Man City with you and Esme Morgan. That was like the 2020-2021 season. And something that really stuck out to me about our time together was you and Esme's friendship. I didn't realize that the minute you came to City, you started living with Esme. You were both young. Did you both live with the host family together?
Yeah.
And then you moved into an apartment together when I was there, which was like so fun. I just loved your friendship. You're always cheering for each other. You're both so easy and fun to be around. I just absolutely loved hanging out with you. Obviously, our audience is huge fans of Esme now because she plays here in the US for the Washington Spirit. So I'm curious, Hempo, how do you and Esme keep your friendship so strong now that you're so far apart?
Well, you know, one thing, I do have a big flaw of not texting back very quickly. So
Hempo.
Unless Ez calls me or I call Ez, the communication lacks quite a bit, and it is all my fault. But obviously we catch up on camp all the time. Like we do constant FaceTime calls. It's one of them friendships where no matter how much time you spend apart, like as soon as you're back together, like it's just like normal. It just feels like we're 18 again and living our best lives. And like we have so much laughs together, like you said, like we're just so silly together. And yeah, I do really miss her. Yeah, it makes me quite emotional.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm sorry. Well, we love Esme. She's doing so great here. I'm glad you guys still get to go into camps together. And yeah, friendship. My best friend Lynn is all the way in Seattle, and that's far away from here too. And I think it's definitely possible to keep up with everybody. So
how far is that?
You just have to. It's like on the other side of the country from me, so it would be like a 6-hour flight.
Oh my God. Wow.
So it's like far, but I make her do this podcast with me. So she has to talk to me contractually like every other week. It's perfect. Okay. I just have a couple more questions. We're going to fast forward to kind of like present day Man City. I know that last season was kind of a struggle for the club. Some of your team's biggest stars like Viv Miedema, Bunny Shaw, and you were injured for a lot of the season. The team ended up slipping in the standings to 4th. Meaning, as you mentioned earlier, you failed to qualify for the Champions League, which is a huge bummer. I know that you were able to join the team for the final games. And then, of course, you had this great summer. But I'm curious, Hempo, how you guys are thinking about last season and using what you learned to kind of reshape what's in front of you now.
Yeah, I mean, it was like really tough last season. Obviously, for me personally and the other girls out injured, it feels almost worse, obviously, when you're either on the bench or in the stands, because you feel like you can't influence anything, you can't help whatsoever, and it's so hard to help when you know like we're struggling to get points, struggling to find ways to win, and we're all trying desperately to get back on the pitch and help as much as we can. But like ultimately then in the few games left there's not a lot we could do to try and get back to that 3rd spot that we so desperately wanted to make Champions League. But yeah, ultimately, like I'm at City because I want to win trophies, and it's something that I haven't done over the last couple of years. And not only me, but the rest of the girls are so like itching to win. And like when you get a sniff of it doing it at the summer, like you then more want to do it when I'm back at City. So yeah, I mean, there's so much learning from last season that we can take into this season. Obviously, we've got a new coach, we've got some new players as well. So we're looking forward to seeing them. Obviously, we've only done one game so far. We were unfortunate to lose against Chelsea, but like it's the first game, and obviously there's still so much of this team to come. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But there's definitely learnings we can take from last season to hopefully implement this season. But yeah, we're desperate to win a trophy this year.
Okay, well, I'm rooting for you. You mentioned a few minutes ago how this was your words, you're kind of midway through your career now. And of course, when I played with you, you were very, very young. I'm curious how you feel coming into this kind of new era, new phase of your career. You're more of a veteran. What role do you think you can play on this Man City squad as more of a leader?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have told me that I'm sort of more of a leader now, and it's weird to think that because I still feel like it was only last year that I was like coming into my first year at City with all these incredible players around me. So it's weird to think that, but yeah, like I even find myself like having chats with the younger people, just passing on experiences here and there, and it's so nice to see like I guess a new era of City evolving and all the younger girls coming through who are so good and who are hopefully going to make an impact on this Man City team in the future. And it's my job to sort of, I guess, steer them in the right direction and like still contribute on the pitch as much as I can. Like it's weird being a leader, but it's nice because I feel like a responsibility, and it's not just like the on pitch stuff, it's the off pitch stuff and helping everyone as much as I can, whether that be the new players or the people who are already here now.
Amazing. Well, Hempo, I'm so glad that I got to play with you. I have so much fun watching you play. And I'm really, really excited for you. I think that you have so much talent. I loved playing with you so much. I remember always just feeling like all I had to do was run into the box and you or Chloe would just cross it right to my head and it would just bounce off and go in. So I'm so grateful for that time that we had together. And I will be rooting for you guys this season. I'm really excited for you. And it was so great to catch up. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Sam. It was so lovely to speak to you.
Thank you all so much for listening. Catching up with Hempo was so lovely. From the Legos to the story about Serena loving Burna Boy to the mystery call she got from Man City recruiting her. Hempo is such a talented player, and she's someone I feel really lucky to have played with. So if you enjoyed this interview, please leave us a comment on YouTube, rate and review on Apple Podcasts, or better yet, send this podcast to a friend who you think will enjoy it too. Before we let you go, we've got our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. Each week, we want to hear from you. So call and leave us a voicemail at 855-611-4050, and you could be featured on a future episode of Friendlies. Here's our caller this week.
Hi, Sam. My name is Sammy. I am from Northern California. My favorite team is Arsenal, and my question for you is, if you could be on any other national team besides the U.S., what team would it be?
Sammy, what a good question. It's really hard to say because I loved my time on the U.S. women's national team so much. But I do feel like for the soccer alone, playing for Spain or Japan, it would just be such a cool style of soccer to be a part of. Like playing with players who see the field in such an incredible way, but then also technically are just so talented and gifted. It would be a challenge to keep up with, but also so much fun to be exposed to playing like that. On a more fun level, I was thinking, what about becoming a Matilda and playing for Australia? Just so, keeping the family together. That way Christy wouldn't have to choose between rooting for the US and rooting for Australia. I also think at the end of the day, just like our friend Burna Boy, I really just want to play with the Lionesses and party with the Lionesses and hang out with all of them. I have a lot of friends on the England team, and also England is busy winning trophies right now. So I feel like playing for England would also be a lot of fun. Sammy, I love that question. It got me thinking very creatively. So thank you so much for calling in. And that was our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. If you want to join us for this segment, the banana phone is open. So give me a call at 855-611-4050. Leave a message, ask me a question, and you could be the next featured listener thanks to our friends at Verizon. Next week's guest will be revealed very soon. I'm really, 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 really excited for you all to hear who it is. And thank you all so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel or podcast feed, and check out our newsletter that gets delivered to your inbox every Tuesday with all the news you need to know. Also, come and join us on Discord. It's a place where there's tons of women's soccer conversation happening. So thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you soon.